What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and welcome to the best route running of 2019 Part 2. We already made a Part 1 to this video. This is for the second half of the NFL season. There have been a lot of great routes ran this year, and today we're going to break down what makes some of these so special. And guys, please leave in the comments which route you think is your favorite one, which route you think is the best one. Let's get started. So, first off, the one is right off the bat. This is my personal favorite. This is Michael Thomas, okay? I think we've all seen this probably clip before, but not have it broken down. So, we're going to watch it full speed, then we're going to break it down here. So, he gives this move to the inside, sells like he's coming slant, has a plan for his hands, and bursts outside, and then scores. I think he might have been a little bit short. So he gives this jab to the outside here, right? Now, when he makes this move off the line of scrimmage, all he's doing is this DB's in this catch technique here, right? So he's got a yard, maybe two to work with. So what he's got to do is he's got to get him on his heels, he's got to get him guessing, and he's got to get a read on this DB, right? So that's what this little foot chatter off the line of scrimmage is doing right here. Jab to the inside, chatter, explosive jab out wide. Now, all he's doing is setting him up to sell like he's just going to be running a slant and break off of this leg right now, okay? Making everything look the same. Violent head and shoulder movement to the outside, exploding off this inside arch, and now he's going to go sell like he's running a slant. So takes 3 steps to the slant here. Now, when he takes 3 steps, I want you to see 1, 2, 3. He commits his shoulders to the slant, okay? He doesn't even have to look back for the ball here because the DB committed his hips because we committed our shoulders and we committed our hips to this slant route, okay? That's the best way to get a DB to commit those hips, by giving your eyes back to the quarterback or committing your shoulders and committing your body to whatever inside move that we're going to make. Now, when he decides to make this break back to the out, he's got a plan for his hands, right? He swats him by with his opposite hand and protects his rib cage with his right hand by chopping down, making sure he doesn't expose his rib cage. A lot of receivers like to bring this hand way up over their body, exposing their rib cage, and all he would have to do is pop him right in that rib cage and knock him off this route. Doesn't do that, protects himself, and now when he's in this position, snaps his head back around, but now he's accelerating out of the break. That anytime we get separation, we got to accelerate out of this break, catches this ball, and then makes a play upfield. That's a great route by Michael Thomas. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. So again, get a read on him, sell like he's going inside for 3 steps, violent change of direction, and then accelerate off this break for a great job. Okay, so now this is another route we're going to talk about here. This is like a stick nod concept, okay? So it's going to be like an out post if you really want to get technical about it, okay? So let's watch it full speed, and then we'll break it down. So selling the inside, 3 steps to the out, gets Gilmore to turn, and then accelerates off of the break. That's a great throw too, I might add. So off the line of scrimmage, we always want to be fast, right? Everything we do from point A to point B has got to be full speed. We want to be selling vertical. We want to make this DB think that we are running vertical. We want to make the whole defense think that we are a vertical threat and we're just going to be running full speed to the back of the end zone. Quarterback's going to throw us the ball, okay? So that's exactly what he does. Takes off the line of scrimmage, eyes to the inside. Your eyes are going to tell lies, right? That's what gets him to turn. That's what gets him to open up. Full speed, committed to the inside, right? Now when he sells this out, right, he's very violent with this stick, and he's accelerating out of the break, committing his eyes to the out and committing his shoulders to the out, right? That's what's going to force Gilmore to speed turn out of there, right? So he commits his eyes, commits his shoulders, gets in that blind spot of Stephon Gilmore, right? This is the spot that we want to be in. We want to be in this blind spot always because they call it blind spot for a reason. They don't have eyes on us at the receiver position, right? So you want to attack this thing 1, 2, 3. Hard 3 steps, but where change of direction has always got to be sudden. We don't want to telegraph this right here. We want to make this break 1, 2, 3. Real quick with it, head and shoulder movement. He has no idea where we're at. He's thinking we're breaking on this out because we did so well of selling vertical, hard, committed 3 steps to the outside, sudden feet. That's a major key to route running, is having sudden feet, being able to change direction very quick, very sudden. And then again, off of here, he's got him beat, but he knows he's still got to beat this zone coverage, right? So he keeps his head straight down, pumping those arms, running, accelerating out of the break. I cannot stress that enough. There's 3 parts of a route. You got the stem, you got the break here, 3 steps, sell like we're running this out, and make sure we continue to get separation by accelerating out of this break. That's a great job here. And again, beating the zone over the top. A great ball by Josh Allen here. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. A very smooth route. Commit your shoulders, hard 3 steps to the out, sudden stick, accelerate back up on the stick nod concept. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Explode up. That's a great job. All right, so next clip here is going to be Davante Adams. He's going to be working a post out, okay? So about post out, again, very about having sudden feet, okay? So let's watch this thing full speed. So again, making this post break. Commit your eyes, commit your shoulder, in and out, 3 steps out of this break. A little bit extra steps at the top of the route, but when you change direction as fast as him, it's not so much of an issue, right? So again, Zone coverage, right? DB's eyes are in the backfield. So we really want to get him to drive on this post. How are we going to do that? I talked about this before, by selling with your eyes and committing your shoulders to the post, right? And that's exactly what Adams does. So when he makes this stick to the post here, again, making everything look the same. Violent stick. Just like he's running a post. We probably burned him on a post a couple times this game. That's what nobody talks about. They never talk about the routes that lead up to the route that breaks the DB, right? So again, making his routes all look the same. Sudden stick to the outside, eyes, shoulders committed to the post is what's going to get him to jump this thing, right? Now he's breaking on it. Now when we change direction, we got to be very sudden. 3 steps to the post. Now, when we take this third step, a very important thing is about getting ourselves in an explosive position to where we could get my hips turned and accelerate back out on this 90-degree angle, right? So that's exactly what he does here. 1, 2, 3. Now, second, third step, he's out of this thing. That's how fast we got to be able to change direction. It's got to be 3 steps. So 1, 2, that second step is what's going to get his hips pivoted back outside. And then that third step is what drives him and accelerates him out onto this post. Now, I think he'd probably be the first one to tell you he needs to keep his arms pumping a little bit out of this break because it kind of slows him down and you see those extra steps at the top. If you could just run out of this thing, right? If you could make this break here and snap down, get a little bit lower and keep those arms pumping, you're going to get a little bit more acceleration off this break, right? But still, it's the right steps. 3 steps, he just needs to get a little bit lower. And then in this situation, right, still pumping those arms, accelerating out of the break, we could just create a little bit more force at the top of the route, but that's a great job working this post out by Davante Adams. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. Again, sell this thing with your eyes, commit your shoulders to the post, in and out of the break, least amount of steps possible, and drive out of the top of the route, keep those arms pumping. So again, here, sudden stick, 1, 2, 3, 3 steps in and out of the break, pump those arms out of the break and accelerate out to create some force. Okay, so now he's going to be running like this slant corner route here. Let's watch it full speed and then we'll break it down. So a little bit of address this DB. Again, selling this thing with your eyes and committing your shoulders to the inside is what's going to get you separation. Okay, so again, DB's going to be giving him the inside here because, as you can see, no man coverage is going to let him just run across the middle of the field without getting any hands on him. It's just not realistic, okay? So he knows he's got some help from this safety over the top. So we got some help over the middle, but again, still want to give him a little bit of a quick move to the outside. Head and shoulder movement, ensure that I could take this inside release here, okay? So now, what's he going to do when he sells like he's running this slant? Takes 3 steps here, eyes to the inside. Eyes, shoulders. Now, what does that do? Gets him to commit and gets this safety to commit, right? That's all we got to be able to do is get these guys to bite, especially in zone coverage. Our eyes and our shoulders are so important when we're trying to work a double move, okay? And that's exactly what Davante Adams does. Now, what I talked about earlier is having sudden feet. When he takes 3 steps, sudden. You see this stick right here, really sudden, almost giving like a dead leg, okay? That's how we have to be able to change direction on any kind of speed cut, on a post corner, on an out and up, even when we're just running a regular out or a regular post. We got to be sudden with my feet. What a lot of receivers will do is they'll extend out and they'll drag this back foot and they'll lean back because they don't have enough body control, right? Being sudden with your feet is all about body control. So 3 steps, real sudden, and now here, he's got these guys beat right now and he knows it, but this is the NFL. These guys are fast. They're going to be able to recover a lot quicker than maybe a high school defensive back would or even a college defensive back. So he's got to continue to accelerate out and doesn't look back for the ball until he knows he's got him by about 3 steps, and then Aaron Rodgers puts this thing over the top. That's a great job by Davante Adams working this route. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. So again, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, sudden stick, sudden explosive, giving him a dead leg almost, if you will. That's a great job. Okay, so now we're going to watch this slant by Allen Robinson. Now, this slant, it's important because this DB is, yes, he's in that almost catch technique. He doesn't want any part of the jam. His base is a little bit high, so we're going to watch a release that you can work off of this. So, comes off, hesitation, 1, 2. Just playing basketball, accelerate up into this route. That's a great job. I think Allen Robinson is one of the more underrated route runners. Okay, so here we go. Coming off. See this little bit of a hesitation here? Hesitation. He's trying to get a read on this DB. How's he going to play him? Is he going to backpedal out of there? He's not in a backpedal stance, so most likely no, right? But he stays here, obviously going to press him, but he doesn't want any part of this jam. Robinson's a big guy, right? He's about 6'3". Doesn't want any part of this jam. So he's going to be kind of in that no man's land that I like to call it, where we don't have hands on him. We're about a yard off. Now that's room for us to work, okay? We got to be real sudden with my feet, and we got to make it believable that I'm going outside on a slant. So again, he just makes this 1, 2. So anytime we work a double move, if we want to go inside, we're going to step with our right leg first, left, and then explode, right? Pretty self-explanatory. You step in the direction that you want to go first, okay? Pretty simple. Now, that's exactly what Robinson does. 1. Now, again, violent head and shoulders. Now, this second step is what's going to freeze the DB, because we want to make him believe we're just going a quick jab to the inside and we're just trying to run around him, okay? Now, I know this seems like it's complicated, but this comes from reps upon reps upon reps. You don't know how much time these guys put into practicing these things, okay? That's why when you learn 100 different releases, it's not realistic, because you're not going to be able to run all those in a game scenario. You have about 5 things that you just rep constantly and constantly and constantly, and it's a mind game with this DB, and you could structure it because you've repped it 100 times. So all this stuff isn't going through his mind. It's all muscle memory, right? I'm just breaking it down so you guys understand the science behind it, right? So again, 1, 2, violent head and shoulders to the outside. And you see what it does to this DB. It gets him leaning just a little bit on this outside leg. That's all we need to do, because now all we got to do is beat this left arm, but he doesn't have this left hand on us, isn't being physical at all, so we can just accelerate off of this slant and catch this ball over the middle. And how does he accelerate off the slant? He's driving off this inside portion of his foot. You could see this shin angle right here. It's at this 45. That means he's pushing off that inside arch. Like if you were wearing Nikes, that Nike logo on the inside part of your foot, that's what explodes you up into this route. That's what gets you acceleration and creates force right here. And I like how we can't even see Robinson in this angle, because that means he's in a good pad level position. For taller guys, what they like to do, especially at the high school level, is stand up and pick their chest up, right? But if we could stay in an explosive position, just like we're playing basketball, this is like Allen Iverson, just a 1-2, explode out, pump those arms, snap that head back around, especially on a quick route, and then run and continue to get separation. That's a great job by Allen Robinson. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. So again, coming out, 1-2. Very sudden feet, exploding off that inside portion of your foot. That's a great route. Okay, so now we're going to be watching Stephon Diggs here. So main thing I want to talk about is, honestly, at the top of this thing, he's going to be running a fade. Let's watch it full speed. So this hesitation hop, jab to the inside, acceleration up, late hands. Okay, that's what I want to talk about. Diggs is one of the best at giving late hands. So off the line of scrimmage here. DB again. Probably wants a little bit part of this jam. You could kind of tell by his hands here, but he's got about a yard to work because Diggs is off the ball, right? So he's got about a yard to work with him. So we got to kind of give him a little bit of a hesitation hop, then explosive jab to the inside. And what did I say? Having sudden feet, being able to give that dead leg almost, if you will, to the inside or to the outside with your feet is very important as a receiver. So hesitation, jab to the inside. Now what does he do with this jab? Hesitation, violent head and shoulders. That's how we get separation. This DB is not looking at your feet. If he's looking at your feet or if he's looking at your eyes, very undisciplined DB, right? He's got to have better eye discipline. He's watching your body. He's watching your hips. And so having violent head and shoulder movement to the inside here is what's going to get him to either lean. He could do one of two things. He might either open up his hips or he's going to lean to the inside. We want him to lean, right? Because we can just explode off of this step. He does a good job of keeping this inside of his frame, and then we could run up into this route, right? Anytime we make this stick to the inside or any kind of jab, we want to keep it underneath my frame, because if I'm reaching way out here with it, my hips open up, and then I'm not explosive with my hips, and then I'm going to be nice and slow, and the DB's going to be able to recover and wall me into the sideline, and that's not what I want. So he does a great job of staying underneath this frame, violent head and shoulders to the inside, and what does it do? Gets his cleats out of the ground, gets him leaning to the inside. We're avoiding this right arm because we know that's all we got to beat in this situation, and we're accelerating up into this route. Now, Diggs, great recovery speed by the corner here. Really good job. And Diggs knows that he's a fast guy, so he's got to keep his head down. He trusts that Cousins is going to put this thing with some air and let him go run it down, right? So he's got his head down. Doesn't look until he's got him by about a couple steps again. But again, Alexander's a very quick corner and has a very good recovery speed. So Diggs continues to go full speed. Now, ball's a little bit underthrown by Kirk Cousins here. I'm not going to give him all the credit in the world for the throw. A little bit underthrown. I still think it's a good throw. Obviously, I'm biased, but Diggs makes this play happen because he doesn't show his hands early. Late hands. You see how he's catching this thing? Late hands right here doesn't allow Alexander to react in time. Because let's say if he showed his hands early, let's say right here, he starts lifting up his hands. All Alexander's going to do is rip through these hands, rip through it, ball's incomplete. It's a PBU, right? Because Diggs, late hands right here, doesn't give Alexander time to react. Anytime we're in man coverage, anytime this guy's chasing us and we're getting this ball over the top, late hands is the way to go. Doesn't allow this DB any time to react. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. So again, hesitation, jab to the inside. Violent head and shoulders. Don't look until we're open. Underthrown, late hands. It's a great job. Okay, so now we're going to be breaking down George Kittle here. I got to include a tight end because I think he's honestly the best tight end in the game right now. And when you look at the way he runs routes, it's very, very impressive for a guy his size. So let's watch this thing full speed, then we'll break it down. So again, working this diamond release, aggressive hands, bigger guys. This is what we got to do. When we face quicker guys, quicker DBs, we got to be physical. We got to use our physicality to our advantage, and that's exactly what Kittle does. So he's going to be working this. He's running a slant, right? So he's going to be working a diamond release with just a little bit of a quick 1-2 to the inside. Okay, so what a diamond release is a hard 3 steps to the outside, selling like we're just going vertical, trying to get this DB's hips to turn, and then we swat him by on his left shoulder, or I go from elbow to shoulder. That's where I want to work, right? So that's exactly what Kittle does. Just gives this 1-2 to the inside. I want you to look at his head and shoulders. Violent head and shoulders, right? We're not worried about that. We're not trying to get too much separation on here. We're just trying to sell like we're going 1-2 and then taking a hard 3 steps on this 45-degree angle, and that's what he does. So 1, right? 2, 3. Now, what does the DB do? He does not want to get beat over the top by a guy this size. He's a vertical threat downfield, and that's what bigger receivers got to understand, is if we could get behind a DB, that's a huge threat, right? So that's the DB's worst nightmare. So he's going to do everything in his power to prevent that. So when we have to run a slant, we got to sell like we're going outside fast right now, get him to turn his hips, and then be violent with our left arm and swat him by and be physical. And now when we're in this position, let's not just stop. Kittle does a great job of accelerating off this break, finding that window for Garoppolo to throw to him, pumping those arms, accelerating out, continuing to get separation from this guy. If he slows down, Kittle's not as fast as this corner. I'm just going to be honest with you. He'll be able to recover, but because he's pumping those arms, because he's accelerating off this break, he makes a great catch, and then after the catch, that's a great job by Kittle making a play happen. That's a really, really great route, intelligent route running from a very good tight end. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. Again, sell like we're just going outside. 1-2, 1-2, 3, swat him by, accelerate off this break. Let's watch this thing full speed. So 1-2, 1-2, 3. Got to be physical. Always got to be physical off the line of scrimmage. That's a great job by George Kittle. And then making a play after catch is being Kittle. Kittle being Kittle. So now we're going to be watching DK Metcalf. Now I wanted to include this in here. Now a lot of people don't think he's the best route runner because he's not. He's not the best route runner in the league. But the way he's improved this year, I think he can be eventually one day. With his size, with his speed, with his athleticism, I think 100% he can be a great route runner in this league, okay? And he only gets better. Every single week you see the routes that he runs. He only gets better, okay? So now we're going to include this route because this is a pretty good route here. Let's watch it full speed and then we'll break it down. Again, he's going to be running a slant, 1-2. Gets that DB leaning outside, accelerates off this break. That's a great job by DK Metcalf. So let's watch this. Let's break this thing down. So why does he go with this release, right? Again, bigger guy, DB probably doesn't want a whole lot of a jam right off the line of scrimmage. He's a disciplined DB playing man coverage, right? Good base. Good eyes. Eyes are disciplined watching his body, okay? Very good job. Now, he gives this foot fire release. A foot fire release is where we're just chattering our feet. Fast hands, too. Fast hands, fast feet, attacking this DB, closing the gap. What are we doing here? Trying to get him on his heels, trying to get him to bail, trying to get him to guess, right? So fast hands, fast feet. DB does a pretty good job of staying flat here, okay? Keeping a good base, and now he's ready to get hands. Now he's ready to jam. Now, DB coaches will say a way to stop this release is by getting hands, right? Now, we just got to have a plan for our hands. Releases is all about reacting. If he jams with his right hand, we swat with that right hand, rip underneath with the left. He jams with both, we pull. We just got to have a plan for our hands. That's the way to stop this, okay? So now, foot fire here. Now he gives this 1-2, 1-2 to the outside again. Look what he does. Violent head and shoulders, committing those hips. That's what freezes the DB because he's disciplined. Look, you can see right here clearly he's watching his hips. Watching his hips. So how are we going to get separation? Violent head and shoulder movement, being real sudden with my feet. He keeps his feet underneath him, right? He's not reaching like crazy with his feet. He's exploding off that inside arch right here and gets that DB missing, and he's reaching here. But when you get him off balance and then he has to reach to recover, all we got to do is rip through this inside arm because we got to beat that arm, and then he snaps that head back around, accelerates off this break. That's a great route by DK Metcalf. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. Foot fire release, in, out, violent feet, violent head and shoulders. Let's watch this thing full speed. 1-2, head and shoulder movement is what's going to get you separation. It's a great route by DK Metcalf. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you stayed through this whole video, I really, really appreciate that. Please leave in the comments which route you guys think is the best, or if you have any questions or just any concerns for me, I would really appreciate that. I'll make sure to get back to you, and I'll see you guys next time.